Hey, buddy.
Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy early football Sunday.
Happy football London Sunday. Freaking Bears suddenly look like a team.
I mean, they're playing Jacksonville, so
The Jaguars.
you can't take too much from this game.
But they played somebody last week and won.
They played the Colts.
They've got that chart of Caleb Williams' QBR going up decidedly week over week. Maybe he's the real deal this week.
I just don't like how now the Bears and the Texans uniforms look so similar if you're not just like really looking for it. So like I keep glancing over, I'm like, go Texans. And I'm like, wait, no, that's the Bears. But then I guess I'd want the Bears to beat Jacksonville.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody cares if Jacksonville loses.
Yeah.
There's a Texans uniform that I think looks a lot like the Atlanta Falcons when they have one of their darker uniforms.
The black ones?
Yeah, the black
with
ones.
the H helmet?
Yeah, I think there's supposed to be horns on their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're actually recording this while the Bears are playing the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Decidedly beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 21-10.
In the third quarter sometime. Missed it just there.
When some people need the likes of Brian Thomas and Travis Etienne to do well. They are not. What a fantasy season.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of injuries.
It's ridiculous, like all the injuries. Like I was looking at like everyone else's rosters today, and just like everyone's just seems to be decimated.
Yeah.
And it's definitely screwed me over pretty good. But there's always next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. How many regular season weeks do we have? Is it 12 or 14 or?
8 and 6 will get you into the playoffs, so 14, I guess.
14.
Yeah.
So I guess technically, if I just won every single matchup the rest of the way, I could make it into the playoffs.
Walking on a razor's edge.
But I don't know if that's gonna happen unless I can like pull off some awesome trade or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which I gotta imagine the trade deadline's coming up here pretty soon.
We were gonna set a Zoom after week 8 or before week 8, specifically because the trade deadline comes right after that.
Yeah.
So that we could say hi to each other and do a shot, but then also be like, hey, wink, wink. Do the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta start looking into that if I'm gonna have any chance.
But you're thinking you're gonna be a buyer, not a seller? Well, that'll determine my record when we get there.
Wait, what do you mean buyer or seller?
You gonna be trying to pick up pieces to make a push to the end of the season, or are you gonna be trying to sell pieces to get stuff for next year?
Oh. Well, yeah, it depends on what happens.
Alright.
I mean, basically, so if 8 and 6 can get you into the playoffs, then currently I'm 0 and 5.
Mm-hmm. In both or in Maine?
In Maine.
Yeah.
I basically just addressed Maine. I'm doing okay
Okay.
in my other leagues. But in the Maine, I'm 0 and 5. So if I lose today, it'll probably end up being sell.
Mm-hmm.
But if I win today, that might give me the hope to like do whatever I can. But I'm not going to give away like future trade. I'm not trading draft picks ever again. I learned my lesson.
Like you're not going to give up draft picks.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
If someone wants to give me some, that's fine.
But that would mean the end of your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's still fun.
Probably shouldn't waste the listeners' time continuing to try and figure out what your price point is.
I mean, we're not even to that decision-making point yet. Just gotta see what happens.
Probably we're not.
Shut up, Nathan. Let me have my hope.
Got it. Well, I had a birthday.
You did.
Oh.
You're looking younger and younger.
Of that, I am skeptical.
No, man, you're looking good. You're looking.
I was doing that fitness goal for hitting 200 with a 18% body fat.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuesday before the birthday, I was doing it on Tuesdays for some reason. Probably because of Ashley and gym stuff. But after Jeremy's birthday, I'd hit 200, but I was still like 22% body fat.
Yeah.
Closest I ever got was that Tuesday. It was like 201 and 19.5% body fat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure since then, because Tuesday was my birthday, that's why. I'm thinking like Saturday was the birthday, because that's when we celebrated.
Yeah.
But no, closest I got to it was 201, 19.5. And I'm sure since then I've ballooned back up, body fat wise. I know my body weight has gone down to like 199 again.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just been eating like shit. Like a happy birthday boy.
What did you eat anything cool on your actual birthday, or?
So my actual birthday being a Tuesday, if it was a Monday or Friday, I might have taken off.
Mm-hmm.
And I just taken on a bunch of new, it's not a bunch of new projects, but like a bunch of things I've been working on. Like Tuesday, I presented to a bunch of executives on some stuff that I've been working on for months.
Yeah.
And I wasn't gonna not do that because I was excited to do that. It was a big deal for me, and didn't take off work is what I'm trying to get at. But I got lots of birthday love from the fam, and then something that I did that I'll definitely be doing moving forward. I think I may have started this last year and just like not made much of it, but woke up and got out on the trail, made sure I saw the sunrise, was up with the sun, and then right after that I went and gave blood.
Mm-hmm.
And on Facebook you can ask people for donations to causes and all that.
Yeah.
I was just like, go give blood. I've been eligible to give blood since like late August, and I just hadn't done it. And it's like 8 weeks, I think, 8 or 10 weeks between donations. And oh snap, the Bears just got another touchdown. Hey,
What just happened?
they just scored a touchdown.
Well,
To that right there.
just the first play of the half,
Of the quarter, yeah.
of the second half.
Oh, is it? No, it's not.
Huh?
Is it? The
Yeah.
first play of the second half?
Yeah.
I thought we were just watching football forward. That's not right, Kelly. I came in and DeAndre Swift was doing stuff. You're saying first play or first drive? Yeah, it's first play of the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah.
My fault. Okay. I'm sorry. I guess this is very distracting, kind of. Because I saw some really funny British people in the stands that I wanted to like interrupt you and talk about, but you're like, all right, got my blinders on.
All right. Walk with the sunrise, give blood. You can ask for donations on Facebook. I just was like, you guys give blood. Because Hurricane Helene had already happened.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was eligible to give blood and hadn't. And then the hurricanes came in and was like, we need your O positive blood. And I was like, all right. I'll do it on my birthday. And then right after Helene, Milton came. So, feel good about that. And really, like, they need your blood. You, Kelly, listener, everybody. Don't stop giving blood. Never not be about to give blood. But for my birthday, it wouldn't have made sense. Jeremy was still in Europe. And birthday, it was just going to be me and Ash.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made sense for, like, me to eat a whole cobbler or for the two of us to be eating a cake. We'd still be doing it. What she did was she got shot glass and cocktail glasses and put icing around the rim with sprinkles.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has a piece of plastic or something that goes on the rim and holds a candle. That's like a birthday cocktail, which was classy.
That's cute.
Yeah, I was a big old fan of that. Whew. And then actually before that, my mom's birthday was on the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Friday before. And for her birthday in September, my dad's birthday in November, and my birthday in October, the four of us, me, Ash, and the two of them, are going to go to the Colts at Texans on October 27th.
Very cool.
It's going to be Mom and Dad's first Texas game.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Just looking at the tablet and going down the notes.
Do you know where your tickets are at?
Yeah. I'd have to look it up. But the tickets were like another... no, that's not fair. I was going to say like an order of magnitude less than Dallas Cowboys. It's not literally true. But it was like... The tickets that we got would have been like twice as much easily at the Cowboys. So that's cool. We'll drive in the night before and stay like close to Rice and all those parks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right over by where we used to live, Jared and
Maine? Is that close?
Yeah. Like, we lived... Like, all the stuff you're talking about is just on the west side of 288.
Okay.
And we lived just on the right side of 288, just across from all that.
Mm.
It's like we just cross over on McGregor,
Mm.
and then you're in the parks area and by Rice and by the museums and stuff.
This will be just north of NRG.
Yeah, right around there.
Mm. So I look forward to that. But that was, the birthday itself was pretty low key. Did that. We watched the rest of Kill Tony. You're familiar with Kill Tony, the show, the concept?
Kind of.
They did it. Tank Bigsby fumble. You know I need you to do well, Tank Bigsby. Just punched right out of him. And no Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne.
Did they get it back? Yeah.
No, Chicago got it. Well, look at the thing on the bottom. What does that mean?
That means Jacksonville has the ball. That'd be there. See, that's Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing it as an arrow pointing at the logo.
No, they're pointing at the number.
Very well. Very well.
Low-key birthday.
Kill Tony.
Kill Tony.
Tony Hinchcliffe, Brian Redband, and other comedians, Judge, folks that are like open micers basically. Like, they've got some regulars that come on, but the fun part of the twist of it all is they just have a cup with your name in it if you like want to go up and do a minute, and it's like 60 seconds, and then there's like one alarm, and then when you get to 30 seconds over that, then it's like get off the, like they'll forcibly remove you from the stage at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And those have been fun and funny. Ash got turned on to it when Adam Ray and Shane Gillis played Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like an Austin show, like, cause they're based in Austin. And okay, so Jacksonville recovered the fumble last time, but Trevor Lawrence just threw an interception. And now Chicago has the football again. And it's over for the Jaguars. Anyways, Kill Tony went to Madison Square Garden and took Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And it was just hysterical. So we watched that. We watched that Tuesday night. Then Saturday we went to Cap City Comedy in the Domain.
Yeah.
And saw a comedian named Chloe Hilliard, who was a producer and writer for Black Lady Sketch Show, which is a show that Ash and I are really into. When it was still on HBO. And that was a lot of fun. Ash was afraid that she was going to get crowd worked. She didn't want to sit in the front, and our seats were very much in the front.
Yeah.
And it was the Red Room, which is maybe 8 times bigger than this room. It's not a very big room.
Yeah.
And I was laughing, when she said that, my head went straight to how she's also afraid of a foul ball in a baseball game coming at her. And how my thought is like, that's great. Like, that's a thing that rarely happens. If it did happen, you should just enjoy it. But it was definitely, I think, way easier to get crowd worked in that tiny room than it would be for a foul ball to come at your face.
Sure.
But it was a good time.
So no crowd work happened?
I got crowd worked. Comedian was talking about, like, everybody knows somebody they want to throw into a windowless van. And was like, you sir, certainly there's somebody. And I wanted to think, I was caught on the spot. I was like, And he was like, no answer. I guess you're sitting next to her. And I was like, damn it.
Got him.
Yep, I got. So that was fun.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then that was last weekend. Yeah, so Jared came back, but we wanted to put some quarantine in place. So that was that weekend. And the quarantine thing ended up being the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that was wild. Like, so I was slated to go pick him up from the airport on Wednesday evening. And, like, the day he was traveling back, I guess he told us that one of the people in kind of the group that he was cruising with just tested positive for COVID. And they're all like, oh, dang. And then Jared and I decided we'd both mask up in the car. He'd sit in the back seat with the window open. I'd sit in the front seat and drive. And he felt fine, completely normal, just a little tired because he spent 20 hours traveling or whatever. And we get home, and first thing he does, he goes and does a COVID test. And, like, before I'm even, like, settled in, he's like, got COVID. I was like, oh, dang. I was like, man, I hope I don't get it. But he like, didn't have any symptoms. He slept a ton, but I think that also could just be the trip and the jet lag. Like,
Right.
He slept, like, 12 hours one night, and then woke up for, like, 6 hours, then went back to sleep for another extended period. Like, just a lot of sleeping, but otherwise. And I guess he was far enough into it. Like, he only actually was quarantined in his room for, like, 4 days, maybe. Which, I mean, 4-day quarantine and, like, no symptoms, that's the best way to do COVID. That's so lucky for him. Like, oh, man. But then I didn't catch it either. Like, after 5 days since I picked him up from the airport and we were in the same car together, even though we were masked up and windows open, he had just tested negative. And so I took a test just to double check, and totally fine. So yeah, hopefully don't have to deal with that again. I'm probably gonna get COVID next weekend though.
For Eminem?
Yeah. In Formula One.
Before we leave that last topic, I just going through the motions mindlessly was like assuming I was gonna pick up Jared from the airport.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after I had already, like, started asking Jared, like, what time or kind of stuff that Ash was like, you're not picking him up from the airport.
Yeah, no, I remember it in the group chat. Jared was like, can somebody come get me? And you're like, gotcha. And then, like, 2 seconds later, Ash was like, nope, you're with me.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
Because I forgot, like, we had already decided that we were going to do it. And I just forgot. I already decided we were going to do the quarantine.
Right.
Yeah. But, so it was Ash that was correct.
For sure.
Didn't have to cancel our comedy. We're probably going to go to a Kill Tony show for New Year's. Yeah. We're doing it at the HEB Center.
Okay.
Like where they do UFC and I think hockey. It's not like a NRG, like not that kind of stadium, but it's like a...
It's more like an arena.
Yeah.
So not even a small arena.
It's like a local rodeo, not like a...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost went to a concert at that venue, but tickets ended up being stupid expensive.
How long ago was this?
I think the show that I was looking to go to was in May.
Did you just go to the HEB and Ticketmaster, or did you go to SeatGeek?
I went through the band's website.
Okay. For Kill Tony, it looked like it was going to be like $350, $400 a seat. I was like, well, that's ridiculous. And then that's just because like Ticketmaster is the original seller or something.
Mm-hmm.
And on SeatGeek, it was like $88. Okay.
Yeah, it was wild. I wanted to go see Sleep Token.
Oh, cool.
A new band that I'm like just really, really into right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not big at all. Like, I mean, comparatively, like if you go out and ask 10 strangers if they know who Sleep Token is, maybe one would be able to say they've heard of them before. Maybe even less than that. But the tickets were like, cheapest tickets were like $220. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, like, y'all aren't that big yet. Like, how are you affording this?
Can I tell you, dude? The first thing I thought of when you said that is there's got to be a name for this phenomenon philosophically, or when you're talking about numbers and statistics. The first thing I thought of was HEB Center versus NRG. Like, however many seats it is, it's not like 20,000, 10,000, right? It's like in the low 10,000 range, if not like 8,000.
Let's find out.
How many? Well, it's not gonna be all the seats there either. How many seats do you think that they have to sell there?
Like actual seats, not counting the middle. Or count the middle.
Count the middle. Yeah. How many like people are they gonna sell a ticket to if they max?
I'd guess 6,000.
Okay. There's enough people in Austin that it's like a 1% of 1% of 1% thing, and I think there's enough people like on Reddit in Austin that know about Sleep Token that would happen. And just my head went straight to the illusion that makes, or like you're dealing with it from a pricing situation of like, I want into this thing, but it's like maxed out, and from the venue and from their perspective, they're like, great, we set a target of 6,000, we sold all of them, and now it's going even higher and higher, whatever. But it, like, we're close to an election, my head keeps going to like politics and stuff, and how people can think something is true in reality because it's all they see, but it takes a very, 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 very small percentage. Like a 1% of 1% of 1% can look like a 51% very easily, if that's like all that you see.
Mm-hmm.
And we as the observers and people doing reality only have so many hours in a day and so many things that we can pick up on in a day. And I think just so many people are trapped in this place where all they see is stuff that makes them think one thing that might not be true. And how that might be like an InfoWars situation. Like, not on accident.
Yeah. I was trying to crunch some numbers. Okay, so apparently capacity is 8,000.
Okay. You don't want to sit behind the band and all that, so there's a lot of seats taken out, but then they make up for it by having like a lot of people in the middle.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that said, that's the capacity for concerts.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But you can imagine on Reddit, Austin subreddit, Sleep Token, or a Sleep Token subreddit within Austin, like, this is going to be our show, having more than 8,000 people with eyes on it pretty easily.
Well, that's not the problem. Like, I get that, but just why do you have to charge that much?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just did the math and say, like, I said the cheapest ticket I found was $220. So definitely they get way more expensive than that. But
right.
if you're just to average $250 a ticket and it sold out, That's $2 million.
Yeah.
For a show. Now, given probably at least half of that has to go to the venue and to like the cost to like run the show. Mm-hmm. But still, if you're making like profiting $1 million a night, mm-hmm. Don't be that greedy.
that might be the least greediest thing.
Well, no, it actually wasn't, because apparently something happened with the pricing, because they're very like anti-price gouging on tickets, and just something happened with their North American tour where like they were supposed to be like $80 tickets. But something happened, and like they even had to come out and like apologize to all their fans about it, and they said that like whoever they were doing business with, like they're not going to do business with in the future, because it was just the whole thing. But
making it inaccessible to their fans.
But I mean, all like entertainment stuff is getting too expensive.
Yeah.
Like,
I think ultimately it's because there's so many people that can buy the tickets, and there's only so many seats.
Well, I mean, not even, like, not with everything. Like, so next week, I'm going to the qualifying day of Formula One, which also has an Eminem concert at the end. Mm-hmm. I got, like, the cheapest general admission ticket you could get for it, and that was $208. And that place can hold a couple 100,000 people. Mm-hmm. So it's not even sold out. But, like, that's just so much money. And that's not really too bad, seeing as how you get, like, racing action and, like, a mini concert. Because the concerts they have after these things, they're not full, like, hour and a half, 2 hour long concerts. They're, like, 45-minute concerts. Mm. So that ticket price isn't too bad. What really grinds my gears is how much it costs to park there.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
twice.
Like, Jeremy and I, we're going together, and we just this past week bought our parking pass, and that was like $135.
Okay.
You say that like my brother went to the national championship game, and this past year, and his parking, he got it like secondhand, so it was the price was raised. But he paid $80 to park at the national championship game.
I'm thinking the first game I went to at AT&T, the parking was also like $115, $130.
That's just makes me so mad.
That's what they can charge because people pay it.
Just they're not thinking about the common man.
Thinking about
we're turning into Hunger Games situation where there's just that elite of the elite that can do this stuff, and then everyone else is getting priced out of it. Like, I don't know, like, I'm sure I've talked about it before, but I don't know how regular families go on Disney vacations anymore and actually stay at, like, the main Disney resorts. Like, there's, like, maybe the top 4 or 5 resorts. Average night rate in a hotel is like $700 to $800 a night, plus all the other expenses. Like a week-long trip to Disney, if you were to stay at one of those places now, like for a family of like 4, easily like a $10,000 trip.
Yeah,
that's.
I hate to keep taking it back to like numbers because I know that this is like an emotional argument, but I think it's a consequence of there being like 330 million of us. Like a historian or alien, like an objective person not living in the middle of it, would look at it and go like, that's crazy that they've got so many successful people that they can, like, this is the price point that people are paying, that they have so many people willing to do that. We have like 6 people willing to do that in this country over here. And they've got a class of like 330,000 or however many people that are forking that over and making that engine run.
Well, the thing is, too, a lot of these people can't afford it. They're putting it all on their credit cards, and then that's just a whole other thing too.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of people go to Disney who shouldn't. Like, they shouldn't be, like, going into debt over that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I understand the logic behind how we've gotten to this point. It's just wrong. Like, at some point, I think the good of the people should come before just making profits.
But is it always going to be, there's only 100 seats here, and when there were 1,000 of you, it was a better blend of who got those 100 seats, but now there's 100,000 of you, so of course they're all going to go to the people that would afford it. Like, I think it's a scale thing, that there's only so many people that can be in Disney at one time or go to these things, and instead of serving a population of 3,000, it's 330 million.
Well,
so that if you only got those number of seats, the distribution of it is of course going to be unfair.
I mean, if they're always sold out, yeah, but the number of days that, like, they're at capacity and, like, can't let new people in never happens. Like, and it also, to me, it should just be, like, more, then it just becomes luck of the draw. Like, stuff gets released for a certain day, you just gotta be first one to go get in line to buy the ticket. And shouldn't have to be, you have to pay more, you just have to be diligent about getting it.
And it would have to be you, the person that's getting the ticket. It couldn't be somebody standing in line for you because...
Well, I mean, I'm thinking, like, online, like, tickets go on sale at 8 a.m., get on there, but then I guess there's going to be bots that are going to beat you, and then they're going to go to resellers, and...
Yeah, because it creates, like, another economy of, okay, well, there's 500 lottery tickets, but the people who can afford to will game that to...
Well, then they should put in systems where it can't be gamed. Like, you can't game, like, the actual lottery or Powerball or Mega Millions. Make it like that.
But it has to be, you win, you're going in, like, 30 minutes later. It's not a resell situation.
Right. I don't know. Let's talk about something else.
I don't know. I think about that 330 million a lot. That I think it's historically bizarre, and the only places that have more people than us are China and India.
Yep.
And those are, like, crazy different places than here.
With orders of magnitude more people than here.
Yeah.
Like, I think, India just hit 2 billion or something?
That's pretty insane.
Or was it a billion or 2 billion? India population.
But I think it breaks a lot of our...
They're at 1.5 billion.
Okay, yeah, 2 billion would have been a lot. But 1.5 billion is an insane amount. I think what breaks our brains a lot, or the source of a lot of agony, is, like, we're supposed to know, like, 120, 150 people in, like, a tribe family situation where, like, anonymity is, like, hard to come by. And our brains want that, and so many of our things that are immediately around us are meant to, like, feed on that, of, like, at work you're part of the family, and everybody's trying to be a part of the community, and it's, we're made to, like, feel, like, comforted by TV we're watching and everything, but that we're also operating not at that 120, 150 people around you level, but that we all are 330 million people competing for the same places at Disney and all the other things. And there are a lot of billionaires and multimillionaires that have just a ton of advantage and access that, like, that's its own nation of people, like you said. Like, in a nation of 330 million people, that's, like, millions of people that have way more just access and power for a finite amount of seats in Congress. Just a finite amount of positions of power, seats in the theater, whatever you want to say. And there's several nations worth of people below that nation of folks that can do whatever they want, basically.
Okay, so here's a fun stat that I just found.
Yeah.
Because when you said that there's like a whole nation of those people,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, how many would I say rich or beyond, like super rich, mega, ultra rich? And I said, I asked the internet how many people in the USA have at least $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, it came back, there are an estimated 1,456,336 households with a net worth of at least 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot
then,
of nations don't have a million people.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, that is definitely a sizable nation of just stupidly rich people.
Some of it is relative to where you are. Like, obviously that means 10 million, 20 million in Texas is enough to go to any community and buy any house you want, go to the theater whenever you want, do all the things whenever you want. I think it means less than like a San Francisco, New York, but it's still
I mean, 10 million is the number where you can you'll never have to work again and you'll always be a millionaire.
Mm.
Like, again, you might have to change your location a little bit, but that I think that's the number that, like, you are set for life, and your kids are probably going to be set too. So,
I often say nation within a nation. Not just about that, but like when you talk about like different, just folks that see the world differently. Folks who think things aren't true.
yeah.
And how it's like tens of millions of people. Like way more than that 1.5 million number. And it's just nations within nations. Nations within this nation.
I want to be a part of their nation.
Think about how much crazier it must be in China or India. Or like in China, I think part of the reason it works in both those places is because they do have like multi-thousand year tradition where we're like 1776. Oh, good fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must just be awfully big there. Like where they've got little 330 million. Like, this is our community.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if I'd say it works. I mean, I guess it's happening, but I wouldn't say that it's good for them over there. Like,
they're operating it.
The majority of the people over there are living in horrible conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, basically, might as well be living back in the early 1900s. But they have the numbers. I don't know, man. I don't like thinking about all that.
Football, though.
Yeah.
This game's over.
Football's football, and yeah, this is done. What else?
We're supposed to do some more birthday stuff yesterday. Came over. We watched Naked Gun and played Catan.
Mm-hmm.
You showing off your Toretto piece?
No, this isn't my Toretto piece is over here. No, I was just trying to get a hair off my face.
Okay. But you debuted it?
What, my chain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Dominic Toretto chain, if anybody's familiar with the Fast and the Furious, the same one he wears. And then I decided I wanted another one that was more simple, which I got one. And I might be a chain wearer now.
Dope.
I was like, I went to Jerry yesterday. I was like, 1 out of 10, how ridiculous do I look wearing this chain? And I'm saying this one, not the Toretto one.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I don't think it looks bad at all. And I was like, okay. He'd be the first one to tell me if he thought, like, I shouldn't be doing it.
Mm.
But he didn't say that. So, I actually, last night, ordered another one.
Oh, snap.
Well, because, I mean, the Toretto one, this is like a gag one, like a novelty one.
Mm-hmm.
And this costs like $20.
Mm-hmm.
This basic one, it literally costs $5.
Okay.
So, I upped and I got a $15 basic one, kind of.
Okay.
But just, it's more Cuban link, it's going to be thicker, and it's going to be 2 inches shorter than this, so it won't hang quite as low. It'll hang, like, to there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm experimenting with cheap ones to decide if I really want to keep going with this, if I want to eventually get, like, an actual one made not out of stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I don't know. I remember back as a kid, like, this is like a forgotten memory that I had. There was like that time when all the cool kids wore like chains, like small chains. And I will say, like, even though my family wasn't like wealthy by any stretch of the term, my mom always made sure that my brother and I could like have the trendy things, so we weren't outcasts in school and stuff. So I remember I had like an 18 karat gold chain at one point when I was like 8 or 10 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember really liking that. And I've had a few different runs with, like, I did like the, not actually like puka shell necklaces, but those other like similar kind of
I think I remember that
ones. And so I don't know, I'm just trying something new out. But yeah, talking about doing more yesterday.
You just got my head thinking about your birthday. And being silly. I probably shouldn't do this thing you just got me thinking about doing. But I might.
I mean, I don't like that you're saying any of this because I don't think you're going to give me any details, and it's going to kind of bug me. And now you got that look on your face.
Hopefully I have the strength to forget the idea I just had. For all of our sakes. Yeah. Naked Gun. When we watched Tucker and Dale the other night, at one point I mentioned, like, this is the kind of slapstick / I didn't mean to do that sort of comedy that would like, watching this scene right now could kill like members of my family with laughter. And I thought Naked Gun was like, oh, this is a good flavor of that too. A lot of nonsense. I lost my mind with the pot roast. I just like went insane for a little bit. That was hysterical.
I recall that moment happening.
Yeah. Ate some pizza, and then Tag was last... For years on end, I tried to make watching stand-up comedy happen.
Yeah. And
if we watched like 4 of them, one of them would be tolerable. It was like 4 years in a row, I think.
Yeah.
Just like, this is awful. And last year, just watched Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
And everybody loved it. So it's like, I'm just going to pick funny movies. So that's how we got to Naked Gun and Tag. And Naked Gun I loved. But we were also playing Catan, and like, sometimes it was just so funny and just had to like focus on the Catan element. But Tag was more modern and was great. And then it got serious at the end. But up until that point, it was great.
I enjoyed the whole movie, even at the serious stuff at the end. Like, they still brought it home. and ended the whole thing really well.
Yeah. The actual guys is pretty cool.
It's funny for me because, like, I had absolutely no idea what the movie was about. I didn't know who was in it. I didn't know anything about it, which is kind of like how I like to go into movies.
Yeah.
Just so I'm like, it's all just completely fresh and new when I do it. It was not what I was expecting. Like, I don't know what I was expecting. I don't think I was expecting a comedy. Like, I really don't know what I was expecting. Like, maybe I was thinking something like Drive, or it's like those kind of more artsy kind of, I don't know. I had no, like, at one point when I was thinking about it, leading up to watching it, I was like, it'd be really funny if this movie was just about a game of tag.
Okay.
And then it was.
Okay, I think I get it now. Yeah. Because knowing that the movie is about a game of tag, seeing that it's tag, I think nothing of it. But if I didn't have anything, you were thinking tag was coming for a more, like artistic description.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking, like, even if they did make a movie about, like, tag, they would just call the movie Tag. Like, I thought it had to like, be something else, or maybe be, like, a character, or some metaphor or something.
Right.
Like, I didn't know they were actually...
If there's a character named Tag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that was real funny for me. And then the execution was just spot on. Like, I like that movie a lot more than I really enjoy Naked Gun.
Great.
But I'm also kind of weird, like, because you know me and my movie taste, like, I prefer usually, like, bad movies and
5.9.
Yeah, stuff like that. So you'd think, like, those kind of movies, like Naked Gun and like Hot Shots and even, like, Airplane, like, those would be, like, right up my alley. They're kind of a little too much for me sometimes. Like, there's some of those movies I can, like, Down Periscope.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of along those same lines, but maybe not as far. Like, I like that movie. But just the being so over the top intentional. Like, I guess I like bad movies when, like, they're trying to be good movies, and then they just really aren't. I'm not as big into the movies that are, like, no, they're, like, they're not making a good movie. I don't know. I mean, they're not bad, but it's not, like, my wheelhouse.
Sure.
But Tag really got me, because, like, all the casting was great.
Yeah, it was.
And it was just, the thing is, the movie's so kind of bizarre, but it's based off a true story, which is the wildest thing to me, because it's, like, an actual, like, it happened in real life.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's so silly. 10 out of 10 would recommend for everybody to watch that movie.
Word. Yeah, I liked it too.
And then, what happened after that?
So the plan was to go to Austin's, what is it, like, Sports and Rec?
I think it's like Austin's Park or something like that.
Yeah. Specifically, I wanted to play putt-putt, but they've got other stuff like go-karts, bumper boats, other stuff.
Kind of like a celebration station.
Oh, laser tag. Yeah. Like a fancy laser station, or a celebration station.
Yeah.
But it's not far from here at all. It's like 8 minutes. And just driving the little bit past it you need to get to the entrance, the place was just packed.
Yeah.
And I felt like we were going after 7:30 so that we could get the Twilight Pass or whatever, like, package that you get all the inside outside. And I think they close at 10, but
11.
Yeah, but it was already like 8 or 8:30.
It was like 8:15, 8:20.
Yeah. And it was like, we're going to spend 2 hours doing two things. And I was like, that sucks. There's just so many people, and then we were just like looking for a place to park. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, all right, this is. I was like, how do I pull the cord on this, or how do I bail on this? And then we were calling you guys, and you were already standing out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then y'all pulled up and had a quick convo, and decided it was a dry run.
Yeah, good dry run. Classic.
I'm a sucker for a good dry run.
I am an endless instigator of dry runs.
I mean, me too. I thoroughly enjoy them. But yeah, I mean, I was down for it yesterday, but I too, like, Jared and I got there a little bit before y'all. I don't know. I guess, did y'all go directly there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we just took a faster way.
Yeah,
You turned left going out of our neighborhood. We went right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we took, like, back roads through the industrial part.
Okay.
And then popped out.
We went to Grand Ave, yeah. And Grand Ave pooped out on I-35, and then it was just a quick jaunt.
Yeah.
With the feeder.
But yeah, when we pulled into, like, I was in the passenger seat, so I was, like, looking, and it's, like, every single hole of the putt-putt golf had, like, at least 4 people just standing on it.
Yeah.
And the line for the go-kart looked like a Disney ride line, like, dozens and dozens of people.
Mm-hmm. And
I was like, all right, we're going to do this. But then you decided against it, which I kind of appreciate. I'd much rather just experience that with a lot less people.
Yeah, so I don't know if you looked at this, but Ash showed the Google has the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And all the weekdays are, like, hardly anybody there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it. I mean, I don't think we necessarily have to go, like, super late for a package. Like, I think we can afford, like, some putt-putt and some games and stuff.
If we pay a little bit more, it's just what we pay to not deal with a huge crowd of people.
Which I will always pay that tax.
Yeah.
Every single time. So yeah, we're postponing that. We're still gonna do it though.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to it. But yeah.
Now it's today, and the Bears are kneeling it out.
Yeah.
Beat the Jags by some incredible sum. I'm sure folks' fantasy worlds are imploding left and right. As the Chicago Bears beat the Jaguars of Jacksonville. Hey, Caleb Williams, I think he got 4 touchdowns.
I think Cole Kmet got 2.
Nice. Yeah, it's not a podcast?
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about more stuff, but it's all dumb, so it doesn't matter.
Save it for next week.
Yeah. For episode 100.
Oh my god.
This is episode 99 of this podcast. Can you believe we've done 99 of these things?
Yeah, actually. I see in Facebook, I used to be very diligent about posting photos with these pods. And Facebook will show me, on this day you posted this.
Mm-hmm.
And those are cool. Those have been fun to look back on. Which is kind of the point of doing this.
Right.
Yeah. For me. Alright. So, yeah, I'm definitely happy to get to 100 and continue this process. This process also birthed me keeping, like, a yearly journal. I started one this year in January. And now we're coming up on Q4.
We're in Q4.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 100 degrees today here. Can you freaking believe that?
No, I thought we were going the other direction.
No, it's going to be 100 degrees today.
It does look kind of bright out.
Like,
It does look pretty bright and cloudless.
it is October 13th, and it's going to be 100 degrees. That is not okay.
So for as mild as the summer was, now this would still be like a really mild summer,
Yeah,
but it's persisting into...
this is fall. We are officially in fall. We've been in fall for weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
We went from a mild summer to like the hottest fall on record.
Does winter rebound aggressively, or is winter mild and then more aggressive next winter?
My bet is it's going to be, for the most part, a fairly mild winter with one stupid, like, cold outbreak. Mm-hmm. Like, so we don't ever get anything good. It's like we have meh, oh my gosh, everything's covered in snow and ice, we can't go anywhere for days, and then it's back to meh. That's my prediction. Calling it now.
Word.
Well, alright. If you made it to the end, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell your friends.
Definitely subscribe because I've been terrible about posting these on Facebook.
And we'll see you next week for episode 100.